Good morning. Good morning and good morning. It is a good morning for me. I hope it's the same for you. It is a Friday, the 14th of August. The year has gone by. It's gone. Okay. I saw something the other day that said, listen, 2020 was so bad, I really couldn't get into it. So therefore, I'm not going to count the year on my birth. I didn't have a birthday this year. I'm going to skip right over it. So that makes it real funny. Good morning, Rodolfo. So that makes it funny that the year came in and it's done us so differently than what we're used to. We don't even know how to react. Well, I'm going to still be happy. I'm going to still live out my joy. I'm going to still believe that God has this thing for us and he doesn't want us to fail, but he does want us to pay attention to what he's told us. He wants us to not act like we have to be 40 years running around in a pandemic for us to not be delivered. We need to be delivered by following his will, following his way. So, for those of you who believe in the man upstairs, good morning to you. For those who don't, I still want to say good morning to you. And I hope you still love me, even though that is my belief. That is my belief. And I'm not trying to put that on anybody. But because I believe in freedom of religion, freedom of choice, freedom of love, freedom of whatever you want to do. You do you. You do you. There is only one of you. So today we're going to talk about buy. 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 I just think about so many things. I can look around my house and they were impulsive. I bought them. They were impulsive buys. Had to have. In fact, there's this one young lady that occasionally I will go on and I just bought a piece of jewelry from her the other day, and she says it so fast. If you like it, gotta have it, gotta buy it. Da 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 da. She just does it so fast. I can't even get all the words. Good morning, Cassandra. But it's so cute. It's so cute the way she does it. And I think she's doing really wonderful. You don't know what God will do for you. You don't know what can happen to you just when you step out and say, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try something new. That's how Are You Stuck? The virtual version came out. I've been doing Are You Stuck? I created it years ago. But all of a sudden, I take a challenge and here I am, years later, having fun, glad to see whoever comes into the room every day, and just an opportunity to share what I believe is my truth. I believe that this is what I've always done wherever I've worked. I've always been a good trainer, always been somebody that loved to deal with people and bring them in. Bring them in to so it's a virtual hug and just saying good morning, Janice, good morning, OJ, good morning, Jean. Oh my goodness, Joan, everybody. So I'm excited. I'm excited about today because today is one of those days where I just woke up with this spitfire of information about buying. But we're not going to do the ing, we're just going to do buy and the importance of buy. What does buy do to us? Buy gets us twisted around. Buy gets us when we're in our 60s and we realize that our parents had too much and we get all of their stuff, and then we realize that, oh my God, I got my parents' stuff now because they've moved on to glory. Good morning, gents. And now I got my stuff. And so eventually you find out this new generation, they could care less about your stuff. I'm going to tell you now. Okay, they probably sell it on eBay or Craigslist or whatever. Okay, it's going to be gone. They're not going to fool with it like you may have fooled with it in the past, and you may have had what I call, a likeness, a love for certain things. Now they may have their own style now. They may go out and pay them $200, $300 for LeBrons and Air Jordans and all those kinds of things. They have their twist too, just like we had our twist when we were coming along. And you have to understand that buying is sometimes in our DNA. But here's the thing about buying. Buying sometimes we don't always use the wisest decisions to buy. We go on impulse. Okay? We go on impulse. We go on our will and not our wisdom. Remember, I was bringing that in yesterday. Our will and not our wisdom. Our will is that we can do it. Our wisdom is that we shouldn't do it, or we should think about it before we do it. But we don't always do that. So anyway, and speaking about the buy, I found this. And once again, I don't know who EH is, but I like EH. EH has a little flair to him or her, whoever they are. And it's always on Pinterest, so I can go on there and find some good poems. Now, I find you the great poems too from the what I call the famous authors of what I call serious poem writing. But a lot of times, because they were written in 1875 and 1642 and all that kind of stuff, we have to do a little deciphering of what did that mean. Because, now it might be something that was back in the day. In their day, it meant something different than what it may mean for in our day. But some of it still has what I call a cultural pull. You can still understand what's being said. So anyway, this poem doesn't have a name, but it's about buy, okay? It says, she bought things with her heartbeats, dealt in the currency of time, counted her pulse to track her spendings while she waited in long lines. She wasn't one for banking. Heartbeats aren't something you can save. You either spend them or you lose them until you're lying in your grave. She'd give heartbeats to strangers while she listened to their woes, because a heart's worth more than money as money goes. She splurged heartbeats on moments, on afternoons with age-old friends who asked how she was happy without a dollar she could spend. But money only buys you things, while heartbeats buy much more, that leave you rolling on the floor. Heartbeats buy you moments. They buy you tears and hugs and smiles. They buy you time to reminisce with friends you haven't seen in quite a while. Money can't buy heartbeats, and that's a fact you've always known. So make sure each day you're happy with the way you spend your own. And I just love this poem. I thought it was just so cute because it was really getting down to the fact of, if you compared your money to your heartbeat, okay, you always have your heartbeat until we leave this world. How about your money? No. Because we can look around our house, we can look at the car we drive, the house we live in, and I believe that we were not meant to be not a wanting and desiring people. We were never that, ever. We were given those feelings, we were given those urges, those desires, and that's okay. That's okay. It's when we go overboard. When we go overboard with to buy, okay? To buy something we don't need, to buy something we want while we see it, and then we get it home and say, why did I buy this? And then a lot of times you get those deals where it says, you only have 13.9 seconds to buy this item, and we end up buying it, okay, in the 13.9 seconds, only to receive it and think that we should have taken that 13 minutes and 9 seconds and done something with them about thinking. We don't always do that. We're an impulsive persons at times, and that's okay. You are who you are. You are who you are. So when we talk about buying something or to buy something, it says to obtain in exchange for payment. Now, keep that payment in mind, okay? Because to buy is to procure, to come about, to get hold of, to score, to bargain, to investment, for an addition to something, to an asset, to a holding, to possession, to acquire, to obtain, get, pick up, take, secure, and deal. All those speak to what buy does, okay? So buy can twist us around. Buy can get us all mixed up because once again, most of the time when anybody buys anything, they buy with some emotion. There's a reason they want what they see. There's a reason they feel they should have it. It goes with the decor. It will drive nice. The door on the front of it looks beautiful on the front door of the house. I love the tray ceilings. Whatever it is, we get attracted and we buy through how we feel. And it's our impulse. But the bottom line is, if we're dealing with money, if we're dealing with emotions, if we're dealing with time, then we need to pay attention. Because time, money, emotions will mess you up. Okay? Because if you don't invest, sometimes buying, because that's what we do. We do buy time with people. When we give them something, they give us something back. That's their time. We give them our time. Okay? When we go to the store and we need groceries, we have to give them our money, so they'll give us our groceries. Let us get out the store with them. So that's what we're talking about when we buy. So when breaking the word down, I said, to buy something is also to barter. It's to barter, but it's also to bargain. We are people who look, many of us, I have some friends, they're serious, serious bargain hunters. If it's not on sale, they don't want it, and it's not on a deep sale, they won't want it, okay? So let me start with the bargain. It says a bargain is a thing bought or offered for sale more cheaply than usual or what is expected. So, when a lot of times when we see something 75% off, we run. But people don't realize, good morning, Carla. People don't realize that sometimes the 75% is still off of the highest price that they had. When it came in, they only paid $10 for it. Okay? They paid $10 for it. They charge $45 for it. Okay? So you're still going to be paying a good amount of money for what they wanted to charge anyway, when you think about taking it down 50% of $45 and so forth and so on till you get to the magic price that you're willing to pay. But there's always a bottom line. And I watched Shark Tank enough to know that they ask you, how much does it cost you to make? And a lot of times that's where the money is made. It's made on the end where it's been manufactured, it's been created, it's been developed. That's where the money is made. And the money after that is made. It's made twice. After that, it's going to be made on how much you're willing to pay for it. That's just the way it's done. So anyway, when we talk about to bargain with something, we want a deep, deep discount. We want to spin on it. And I look around and think of the things I thought I got a good deal on. Now that I'm thinking about them, I need to resell them. Okay, that would make a better deal. Just saying. It says there's a lot of times they'll say a bargain is like a giveaway. They'll give it away to somebody, or it's a cheap buy. It's a good buy. It's a value buy, value for money that you can make money off of it. And when the other day after church service, I rode by T Street. I don't know, I guess I was going to the fish market or something, but I noticed that there were people there, and guess what they were doing? They were selling things that came from what they had bought, their buys, and they were selling them at a discount that somebody hopefully would buy it for. And so that's what it is. Now also they talk about barter. That's my other B. And the barter is to exchange something. But have you ever bartered with something and you think that you got equal value from what you bartered with, and you realize that you didn't? That they said it worked and it didn't? That they said it was, a size whatever and it wasn't? So sometimes you can get rope-a-doped on the barter, But it says barter is to exchange goods or services for other goods. And I don't know if anyone's ever bartered. I want you to write it in there. If you've ever bartered for anything, such as I will, do this for that, or I'll exchange this with you for that. And it says to barter for other goods and services without money is what barter is. And it says usually it can be done as a goodbye, of great value, and it's so worthy to have that you want it. Or you think you can add it to something that you already have. Sometimes you can. This isn't a negative kind of thing. I'm just saying sometimes we need to be mindful about how we let our money go, how we let our time go, how we let our heart go, because we've invested. A buy is an investment. It is an investment of your time, your money, your relationship with it. Because sometimes we spend a lot of money being all involved in something only to realize that we were only involved on the peripheral, and the person moved on with somebody else. The house was, you lost the house because you still didn't have enough money to stay in it. So there's always a lot of things that can certainly occur when we feel that we're getting a good bargain or we're bartering for something, and we do. It's just that it's okay. It's just that one day we're going to wake up and say, I don't want my money going like that. I don't want to waste my time with that person. I don't want to utilize my time and not be properly paid for that job. Those are the kinds of things that this speaks to. So the you of buy is unnecessary. Sometimes we just get to realize that we have done some unnecessary bartering, some unnecessary buying, and we end up with some unnecessary things, period. Too much. And so unnecessary, it says not needed. Very short description. Not needed. But we have it, and I can look around my house right now and say, I got that, and I got that, and I got that. Didn't need it. When I was young and we lived in Italy, I had to have yadros, and I don't know if anyone knows what yadros are, but yadros are these expensive porcelain, Spanish-made figurines that it was the rave when we were in Italy. Everybody wanted yadros. So they would have lines lined up outside the exchange for us to get a number. And I would stay up the night. I would go there at 12 midnight, 12:01, and be third, fourth. In fact, so I think one time I might have been the 50th in line because there were other people that are always smarter than me to get up and don't even go to bed. Just go on over there, take them a chair and sleep in their chair. But, I had to have my rest in my bed as much as I could. But I went to get my ticket, and I think one time I got ticket number like 34. I think one time I got 2, but that was only because somebody saved me a place. It wasn't that I was already there. But they asked the person, they said, look, my girlfriend is coming and they agreed to let anybody that came in after her, they let that happen. But usually that's a fight. Okay, you can't do that now. Don't try that now. Okay, not on when we had the hurricane. People bumped lines for the food or the water. Child, that was an argument. So I would never do that now. But when something is unnecessary, that means it's avoidable. That means you can get around it if you wanted to. It says it's gratuitous, it's needless, it's redundant, because a lot of times we're repeating what we already have. We might even not realize that we already bought this item before, but we didn't realize it. It says it's superfluous, meaning unnecessary, useless, worthless. All those things to speak to what we do when we're dealing with unnecessary habits, such as to buy stuff, unnecessary, And then we talk about the why. And the why, like the B, I couldn't come up with just one word, I had two. The first thing it talks about to yield. To yield. It says give way to arguments, demands, and pressure. You yield back because somebody's already telling you what you need to do. You need to buy this, you need to do this, you need to do that. So you yield back and you end up having more than what you needed or what you wanted. But you didn't have the chutzpah to tell them, okay, I don't need this, so you end up with stuff. And it says to really look at yielding, it talks about you surrender, you submit. And we also surrender to the buy. So it's not just a person talking to us about buying, but it's ourselves. We yield. We yield to whatever somebody says. This is a good deal, This is a good deal. So I had to tell you all this one little funny story. I didn't know how it worked. We went to Alabama. My daughter needed a car. And it said it on the sign when I went in, and I read the sign. But I was desperate to get her a car because I was tired of driving her around. And it said in finer print, okay, if you put your hand up, that you own the car. I'm not lying. This car came out. It was horrible. It was horrible. And I was beckoning for my daughter to just come over there where I was. They said, sold. So I literally ended up with a car that was absolutely okay. It was a junker. It should have been never bought. But once again, sometimes perception. They were ready to sell the car. I raised my hand in a position that they could see, and they sold me that car. And I think the car was like, I don't know, $650. It wasn't worth 60 cents. You know, we tried to get it to work. It never worked. So sometimes we can be just ahead of ourselves. Just ahead of ourselves and not really paying attention to what we need to pay attention to. So anyway, to yield really talks about this surrendering, the quitting, the throwing in the towel. So we said, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get it. We shouldn't, but we do. Now, I can honestly say, good morning, Carlos. I can honestly say, since I have been in pandemic, I'm very particular about what I'm going to buy, what I'm going to eat. Because, you know, what happened is Corona and her brother, Corona, came in. And therefore, my suspicion went up. So I'm not that interested in buying everything that somebody happens to be selling right now in the area of food or I know I have to go to market, but even when I come in for the market, I have a little routine of, you know, washing everything that I brought in, throwing the bags out, you know, washing my clothes. So some psyche stuff came in, and I'm not the only one. I know there's some of you out there that do some of the same thing because you realize that you probably have saved some money. Some people maybe not. Some people aren't making much money, so even a little bit of money is too much to throw away. So it has to be designated for where it's ought to go to. So there it is, Joan. I'm cooking at home. I cook my meals at home. Every once in a while, I have to go out and buy something, and if I do, I know where I'm going. I watch them make it, you know, and they have on gloves. And I insist that they put on new gloves when they get to my food. Wash their hands, put on new gloves. So, you know, our minds are being retrained on how we'll go forward. You know, to eating out, to, you know, being in large crowds, all those kinds of things. We've been reconditioned for a period of time, and I don't know how long it'll last because some people just love folks. And the last why, of course, I told you I had another why, was yourself. Understanding who you are and your relationship to things that you buy or places that you go and all those kinds of things. And it says used to refer to the person that you are, being addressed as the object, the verb, the preposition, when they are also the subject of the clause. So therefore, I'm talking about you, I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about myself. Because, you know, in the devil sometimes is in the details, so therefore it's my character. I may see something that somebody else has, and I have to have it. I have to have it. Okay, that's ego. You know, or I want the identical thing. That's also personal. That's your personal choice. I only want that one. You know, and sometimes I've seen things that I only want. Once I see it, I said, that's the only one kind I want. I don't want anything else. So but it also says that when we buy stuff, it's also our identity. It's the individualist that we are. It says it's our personalities, because I know that some people know you by the way you dress, by the way you walk, talk, what you drive. They pay attention. They do pay attention. And it says it's the person that you are, and it's also the myself that you are. So therefore, when you buy stuff, you know, it's almost like we can become what I call branded. We're branded by what we like, and we like what we like. That was given to us. We didn't know that we were going to, you know, love Brahmin bags, or we were going, you know, to love, you know, wearing, you know, Versace or you know, only eating, you know, fish, you know, and being a vegan or whatever it is. We didn't know all those things until we grew into who we are, you know. But sometimes when we've grown into who we are, we can also sit on the sideline and examine ourselves enough to say that's ridiculous to throw away that much money on something like that. And as I get older, I've gotten more wise. So I don't spend as much money on things that I used to spend money on. And the things that I like, I do spend money on them, but those are my treats. They're not they're my occasional, investment in something for myself. And sometimes that's how I reward myself, is I just get something. Maybe it's not food, it's something else. It's something else that I know I could wear and I know I like. But I've also been doing what they call, if you bring something in, try to put something out. So I've also been working on that, where I've given to Goodwill and some of the women's organizations around the city. I've been giving to them just because I feel compelled to do it. I've been blessed. And if I've been blessed, then I need to bless somebody else, especially if it's just sitting around. So that's my mantra for the rest of this year. Is by the end of the year, I hope to have cleaned out a good bit of stuff. It's not junk, because I'm like everybody else. When I was younger, I spent my money on good stuff, but it's just that I've outgrown the need for that good stuff. I need other good stuff. I need other things that feed me differently, motivate me differently. And it's not always about what I'm, looking at or what I'm dressed in, because sometimes the thing that doesn't cost much can look just as well as the thing that does, the outfit that does. So those are the things that really talk about when we buy stuff. We need to look at, is it a bargain? Is it truly a bargain? Or is it our boastfulness, our quietness, our need to barter, our need to get something new? Do we understand that there is a necessity or there isn't? And finally, can we yield back away from the people and not buy it? Or do we yield too? Meaning we let them take over for us and we don't think about it anymore and we pay that money. And sometimes we do. But we are the bottom line. We are the self that we end up with. The self with a lot of stuff. The self who has to determine, how to move forward. How to look at what I call our tomorrow. And I don't want to be, I was watching the other day and they had hoarders on. It was all brand new hoarders. And I said, you know what? I remember when my mom passed and there was just so much stuff. And so I'm looking around my family room and I have pictures and all that kind of stuff. But I'm thinking, well, maybe I should, give that to the younger kids and just take it and make it, a digital copy for myself, just to rid myself of pictures, And mommy didn't mark all of them. So some of them I don't even know. But anyway, here's our questions for today on to buy things. What do you buy with your money, your time, your work projects, and anything else? What do you buy? Put it in there if you feel you can write it in the thread. What do you buy? Do you buy books? Do you buy food? Do you eat out a lot? What do you buy? And after you buy it, do you feel bad about it? Or you just say, nope, I ate it up, or I still have it. What do you do with it? Question number 2. I hope you have a pen and paper. I didn't say that. And hope you share these videos too. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming every day. I really do. Number 2, are you an easy target for a bargain? Are you an easy target for a bargain? As soon as you see 50% off, are you running over there? I saw a fight one day where 2 women were fighting over an item because one wanted it, obviously the other one wanted it, who touched it first, all that kind of stuff. I say, you can have it. And then the follow-up to that is when you get a bargain, it says, when is a bargain not worth the purchase? When is a bargain not worth the purchase? Meaning your money and your time. When is it not worth the purchase? And sometimes, let's face it, we've entered issues like that where what we wanted and what we paid for, or what was given away in terms of our time, we realized it was too much. The cost was too high. Do you ever assess yourself in that way? Question number 3, because that was A and B. Both of those questions, 1 and 2, were A and B questions. Number 3, do you do or buy unnecessary? Do you do unnecessary things in terms of your time and commitments, or buy unnecessary things? Do you do unnecessary things? Do you buy unnecessary things? Be truthful. Do you? I know I do. I do. Good morning, Maurice. I don't do it as much as I used to, but I still probably could cut down to, 1 a month. I probably have bought 2 things in a month's time that I didn't need. They were unnecessary things. But we don't always get into things being unnecessary. We think when we see them, we need them. And therefore, because of the need that we feel inside, we buy them. And then we get them home. And then we find out that it doesn't go with anything we have because it was a bargain. Because it was a bargain, we end up still keeping it, but it becomes a part of the landscape, the clutter, the assemblage, whatever has got going on in the various places in our homes. We just end up like that, and we never get rid of them until, we're probably gone. Somebody else probably moves them out. And the last question is, do you feel better or worse from your experience or with a reaction when you buy things you do not need? Do you feel better or worse? And do you experience a reaction when you buy something you do not need? And that question I never would allow myself to get down to. I always say, well, I just want it. I want it. So if I want it, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it because I have the money to buy it. That's okay. It's like my daughter and I had this conversation the other day, and we were talking about computers, and I was telling her my best computers that I've ever had were Dells, and I just love Dells. They were always, they had great storage capacity. They were they were good. They were quick. They responded quickly. But the last 1 or 2, I think 2 computers I've gotten were not Dells, because I think I bought a Dell in 2010, and I bought an HP. Sometimes I'm waiting for it to decide if it wants to turn on, or having multiple, screens open at one time, even though it says it doesn't do it well enough for me. So eventually I am going to buy, let's see what they wrote. Eventually I am going to buy a new computer. It says, I love saving, but the percentage in coupons does not drive my purchasing. I know that's right. I have informed people that just because it's on sale doesn't mean you have to get it. You are still spending money that you may not need to spend. I guess it's supposed to spend. I didn't see it, but I had to punch the button to see it. That's right. That's absolutely right, Maurice. A lot of times, if we would pause long enough to give ourselves time to think about it, we won't even buy it. And I've done that where I've walked away from things. Like, I used to be a sweetie person. I wanted everything sugary. And if I went into a bakery, even though there might have been just my daughter and I had 2 for her and 3 for me. And now I can walk through a bakery, and if I get something, that's because I wanted it. But most of the time, no, it doesn't bother me anymore. So I've been able over the years now to build up that wall, that I'm not as compulsive as I used to be about that area. Now I probably still have some areas. I love clothes, so that's probably the biggest thing. But I'll go and get material. I will go and buy. And now that's what I'm always looking for a sale on. And they hardly ever have a good sale on material. But every once in a while, I can find a sale of material, and I'll do headscarves and shawls and those kinds of things. I'll just make them. So that's my little giveaway that I do, and I enjoy doing that. But we need to consider what we buy. We need to pay attention to how we spend our money and how we spend our time, because to buy something is not just monetarily. It's in a financial sense. It's also when you volunteer to do something, you're really buying. You're buying their project for how long it lasts. If it's going to last, for a day, you're going to give them 8 hours. And if we probably started looking at our lives more like a timeline that's where we have worth to who we are, we'd probably be a lot more disingenuous. We wouldn't be as kind to give away our time. But right now we do that. We're still, and the pandemic's probably made people be aware of all the time that they gave to other people and other projects, and the church. The church is wonderful, but a lot of us have been at church many hours in the course of one week. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying sometimes we've done so much and other people do so little, even though they're part of the same, group. They're part of the same group. But I also heard the phrase that if you want something done, get somebody that's already doing something and they'll get it done. And that's probably 98.9% truth. That's how life works. But anyway, I want you all to have a good day. I want you to pay attention to what you buy. Pay attention to what you buy. If you see a bargain, question it all the way. And sometimes I'm going to give you a secret. If you can pull back the label without them thinking that because sometimes they put the security label on top of things. But if you can pull back that label, you can see the original price. And hit me up sometime and I'll tell you how to read it. I used to work in retail when I was coming up, and they have a little code, and the original price is in this. It's probably in the barcode now, but not as much. They usually put it on a scan barcode now, and you can kind of look down there and figure out that they paid $8 for it, but yet and still they're charging $408 for it, which tells you the markup is astronomical. So anyway, just have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Be safe. Please cover up. Please wash your hands. Keep your distance. Keep your distance. Okay? Have a great day. And certainly hit me up, for if you got some ideas of some things you'd like me to discuss, do that. Hit me up and say, Doc, I want you to talk about this, and I will. I never come without researching my information. So, you just got to give me a little timeline. Give me enough time to get it together. And I'll buy into it. Okay, I'm going to tell you that way. You buy into me when you come. I buy into you if you want me to discuss a few things. And I would definitely do it. But anyway, be blessed. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Oh, wait a minute. You said something, Maurice. That is also one thing I love, that you make sure to thank your viewers for taking time to view. Absolutely. I thank everybody for everything. Probably overkill, but I'm going to thank you one more time before I get up out of here. Hey, Gloria. Glad you made the end. I love you guys. Love you, love you, love you. Be safe, please. Please, please, please be safe. Bye-bye.